What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sports Rants. No Abby today, so it's just Gene and Guy, man. The G&G show. What's up, man?
What's up, bro?
I haven't hosted in so long, so I have to come out and be like, it's just not me no more, man. Yeah. So listen, we got a lot of stuff going on. We got NBA, the schedule released tomorrow. We got you know what? My freaking computer is a touchscreen now, so it's like if I touch it by accident, it freaks out. All right. So yeah, we got the NBA schedule coming out tomorrow. What else do we got? We got the NFL a couple weeks away. We've already had some big stuff in the preseason. MLB playoff races are looking pretty tough out in the AL and NL West. I think they're both tied out in the West, right? Both divisions.
Yeah.
So where do we want to start, man? No Abby here. Let's where do we start? You want to do a little NBA? You want to do a little NFL? You want to do a little MLB? Where do we go?
Yeah, I mean, let's get the NBA schedule out of the way. Let's. I know they already leaked they told us about the Christmas games.
Yeah.
In opening night, but are you excited about any matchups in particular? Or Knicks got a big year ahead of them next year.
You know what it is I'm looking at. We talked a little bit about it off the air before we started, right? And I can't believe the Boston Celtics were shut out on Christmas.
Yeah.
Again, I get it. It's going to be a rough year. It's going to be a little bit of a fallback year for them, which might even make them better in the future because they're going to probably get a really great draft pick. But how are they not playing on Christmas Day?
Hey, it's like I was telling you, man, it's a marquee franchise. They're
gonna draw. They're gonna
draw.
The
biggest fan bases, right? It's like ratings, but man, I guess it sounds like a lot of people in the boardroom made that decision where they're like, their best player's not playing, so the game might not be competitive, but you never know, man.
Well, it's the NBA, right? So, who knows what could happen? But not only that, like I said, they're just, even if they're not that good, they're one of those teams that draw. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And
so,
who's to say, one of the other stars on the other team, God forbid, gets hurt, and then you have a similar situation, with that game. So it's like, I mean, usually it's like Knicks Celtics, that first game, or Knicks Philly. Usually with that,
they used to be. I remember it was Knicks in Chicago. I felt like it was every year Knicks in Chicago back in the day, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Knicks in Chicago, one of those situations. LA and Golden State, stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so what do we get? We got the Christmas Day game. We got the games. We got the opening night doubleheader. Which do we need to see LA and the Lakers and Golden State really on the opening night? That's a big game. That they're both two both washed franchises right now. They're both aging. They're really maybe a season or two away from really just changing up what they got going on. As far as the roster, right? Like a roster turnover. My thing is too how come we don't have a team from the East on opening night? It doesn't make any sense to me.
I would have thought, given the landscape, you have a Knicks on opening night, just with how they've been surging their fan base. It's a New York market. I thought that they would have that first game. At least the East Coast home game.
It would have made. Here's what I would have loved to see opening night. Knicks Magic. I think those would be the two top teams in the East this year. Is Knicks Magic.
Yeah.
I think the Cavs. I don't think the Cavs. They haven't really proven to be able to get it done. I think it's going to be Knicks Magic.
It definitely has a chance.
And that would have been great. That would have been great to see. So but
I wouldn't even be mad at Knicks Detroit, man, first game too, because
Detroit scares me, man. They're going to be good, man. They're just young. That's the only problem with Detroit right now.
Yeah, if I'm in the East, I'm trying to avoid playing Detroit in the early rounds, But you could have done any Knicks, Magic would have been nice. I'm trying to think if there's any other like up and coming East Coast teams. Not
I mean,
really.
obviously Cleveland,
Yeah,
but like I'm
Cleveland.
just not sold on Cleveland necessarily. You know what I mean? That's my problem with Cleveland.
Yeah, they
Um,
underachieve every year, so it's like, but it could have been a nice, start off between two of the favorites, just to set the
100%,
tone for the year. Um,
100%.
you know, with the Lakers and Golden State, it's like like you're grabbing the low hanging fruit there, right? It's like LeBron, Luca, Steph. It's like, okay, I get it, but is it going to be like the best game that you could have put together? No. I would have liked OKC Denver right off the rip. Like,
Yeah.
let's
Okay,
go.
so who's it? OKC is what they got the Rockets, right?
Yeah, which is a good game. Like, because like
It's
now it's like KD's there, so it's like,
yeah, yeah. I just would have loved to see, like you said, like that Denver OKC, which is probably going to be next year's Western Conference Finals. Yeah, tomorrow we get the whole thing out tomorrow. Um, I don't care about the playing the tournament. I really don't care about that. I know that was already kind of released today as far as some of that scheduling.
yeah,
I don't really care about any of that stuff. I want to know. I'll tell you what. I live in Orlando now. I want to know. I want to know when my Knicks come to Orlando. That's what I want to know. So I'll be going to a bunch of Magic games this year. I just want to know. I want to know when the Knicks are coming to town. Other than that, man, it's obviously it's different than the NFL. The NFL there's only 17 games. Every game is so crucial, especially with the time of year. Like, are we playing in a cold weather city at the end of in December or November? Are we playing? Who are we playing when? With basketball, it's such a long marathon. It's not a sprint. It's such a long marathon that it doesn't really have the same cachet, except for like nationally televised games, right?
yeah,
And again, to see so far Boston isn't on opening night or on Christmas Day, or I believe also I think they got shut out of MLK as well, the MLK game.
Whew, man.
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to get many chances to play in front of the country this year as far as the national televised games, but might be good. Maybe we get to see some teams that we didn't get to see. Like I feel like the Magic never really get that opportunity. Maybe there's a chance for the Magic to kind of sneak in and get some of those opportunities to see, for people to see them nationally. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple of teams that now will get a chance to kind of watch a little bit that we didn't get to see in the past. Maybe Detroit. We didn't see much Detroit for the last 2 years, right?
No.
So maybe Detroit's the team that is a fun team to watch. We can see them a little bit. I just, if you're not going to play a team like the Celtics, though, why are you going to play the team like the Lakers? The only reason why is because you think, what if it's LeBron's, swan song, right?
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't need to see the Lakers, man. I really don't.
I agree because like it's just played out already. Like same old Lakers. Like, all right, Luca. He's fun to watch, but it's like they still have those same issues, really, like they had last year. They haven't really improved that in that roster. So unless it almost is like how the media covers the Cowboys. It's like the Lakers. We got to put them on national TV, and even if they're mediocre or bad, it's just ratings. So anytime you have LeBron, he's a ratings.
Where did they finish in the West?
They were
where do you think they finished this year coming up?
I think they're like middle of the pack kind of Western team. I mean, just off the strength of Luca, they'll probably be anywhere between like 6 and like 6, 7, 8 seed.
So they'll be just ahead of a playoff. They won't have to play in.
Yeah, they might. I think their ceiling is like just ahead of a play-in.
Okay, but you think they definitely make the postseason?
Yeah, as a play-in team, but I think
minimum.
Yeah, there's better teams in the West. Clearly, like OKC, Denver, Houston, even like the Clippers are better. And I think Dallas could be better if they gel. San Antonio might take a leap. So it's like there's teams out there, man, that to me are better than the Lakers. But you never know how that could be. It could get volatile if they get off to a bad start. You never know. LeBron asks for a trade mid-season and shift the whole balance of power. So let's say they get off to a bad start, and he's looking at the guys across the country in orange and blue having a good year, and he forces his way onto the Knicks for a title run because he's still ring chasing, right?
Do you think he does that mid-season though?
He could.
I'd be surprised if he try to forces his way out middle of the year. He's a guy that you need to set up for the season with. Like I just don't see him doing that, man. Listen, you could be 100% right. It wouldn't be weird for him to like chase a ring, right? And if this is the last year, then he could. But I'm honest, I don't think this is gonna be his last year anyway. I think he's gonna play for another like 2 or 3 years.
I think so.
I think he wants to be one of these guys. As long as he can still play, almost like Tom Brady. As long as he can still play, he's gonna want to play and show that, hey, I could play at the age of 45 and still be dominant. I think that's really what if he could still be dominant at the age of like say 45, I think he's all in. I don't think he wants to get out there and be like, and be like a shell of his former self. But if he can get out there and still be dominant, and I feel like he's a superstar. He's got an ego. His ego is going to say he can be, right? So as long as he's still putting up the numbers, he might play till 50 if he's still putting up the numbers. And does he look like does he look his age right now? Not forget about the stats. Forget about the numbers. I'm just talking about, you see him as an opposing figure on the court. When you look at him on the court, does he look his age?
In some regards, yes. Like his face looks kind of old.
I get the receding hairline. Yeah,
hairline.
Yes, all right. But to be fair, that hairline's been there since year 2. The hairline's been there since 04, man. But I think he's a guy that can play, and I think he will as long as he can. I think he loves the talk about wins the last year. He wants people to wonder, oh, is this the last year? I think he wants people to talk about it because he loves to hear himself in the press, right? Yeah. In the media. So I think he's going to play for more years. And I think this is just, I think it's just his way. Hey, there's Abby right there she's listening while at work. Abby, I suck at this hosting thing. I really wish you were here. Anyway, all right.
LeBron though, I think he benefits from like a softer league, so it's not being as physical. So you're able to play until almost 50 years
100%. This wouldn't have been him. Like he couldn't have done this in the 90s.
No,
anyone that says, "Oh, that's why Jordan is better than LeBron." But yeah, he couldn't have pulled this off in the 90s. And a lot of players couldn't. It's not anything. It's not a knock against him. No. It's a tough league, man. It's a tough league. Let me just fix my phone. All right, so let's switch gears to the NFL because it's creeping up on us. And who's not excited about it, right? Let me pull up our docket for the NFL. All right, what are we looking to see mostly in week 2 of the preseason? What is something that you need to see? Like, I think last week a lot of us said, I want to see what Shedeur Sanders does as a starting QB, right?
Yep.
What do we want to see this week from the man?
From Shedeur?
Or not from I'm not sorry, not from him. In the NFL.
In the NFL, I want to see. Well, now that it's the second game, it's kind of like the dress rehearsal, right?
Yeah, this is the old-fashioned third game.
Yeah, so like now we're gonna see the first team play more. Against the other team's first team. So let's see how some of the new faces and new places are. Definitely got my eye on Fields and Russell Wilson, just to see how they are in their respective teams. I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to take any snaps.
I'd be surprised. I really would be surprised. Like, he didn't play any last year.
It's beneath him now, right? It's like...
I mean, according to him, everything is. So, like,
yeah,
like, listen, there's a lot of question marks on a lot of teams, man. It's the Jets, and not so much like either there's question marks about who's going to play what position, or there's question marks about how a certain player is going to fit in with a certain offense or certain defense. There's question marks about how is the team going to evolve? For a lot of teams, This year, I think it's a lot of how is Justin Fields going to fit in with the offense. Another question for the Jets is how is this defense going to play under a new coach that's a defensive coach? With the Giants, it's that's one of these things like, all right, well, let's see what we got, what we can see of Jackson Dart, and based on that, okay, let's start playing the guessing game of how soon he becomes a starter in the regular season. So there's a lot of that going around. Does Shedeur Sanders lock down another solid week?
Yeah.
Of because again, I don't think you're going to see Flacco play. Flacco's been in the league for 45 years. You know what Flacco is, right? You might see Pickett play. You might see, in fact, you have to see Pickett play. If Gabriel's healthy, you have to see what Gabriel can do. But you want to see if Shedeur Sanders can go out there and do it again. The coaching staff has really minimized the great game they had last week, right? They really kind of toned it down. And I don't know if they did that for his sake by not letting the hype machine build it up and then only for it to, kind of fall apart and have to deal with it. The kid's been under spotlight since high school. So if they're doing that, that's a great move. I get that.
Yeah.
But what's a question for you that you want to see kind of shed some light on for week 2?
I would also see, because I know specifically for the 49ers, I want to see how Brock Purdy takes the next step in his development, right? Mm-hmm. Previous seasons, he's had a lot of weapons, stacked roster. Now that team's getting a little long in the tooth.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys have moved on, so let's see how he develops into like being a franchise quarterback where it's like, you have McCaffrey there, but you might not. He's always an injury risk, right?
Yeah. And he's only getting older. And, Debo is in Washington now. And, you have Ayuk and Juwan Jennings and Kittle. But it seems like that whole franchise has had the same cast of characters. And it's like, at what point are you looking at Shanahan and like, you know what? We're going to have to change the philosophy here. Because, like, he can only get you, and this is just observing, when he was a coordinator, when he was a head coach, every time he went to the Super Bowl, his teams lost because he stopped running the football. His play calling, he could try to out-coach. He tries to be so intricate and, come up with these great plays. But at the same time, sometimes the simple play works. Mm-hmm. And I think with them, I'm looking at his coaching style to see if he adapts a little bit to his personnel. If you don't have a McCaffrey and you have just Brock Purdy trying to, win shootouts, essentially, can you do that? Or can you change the game plan where it's a little bit more not vanilla, but you're doing a little bit more, just straight up run up the middle, time of possession ball, and just to grow the quarterback position, because I think Purdy had a great offensive line, great surrounding parts. I'm looking at him to see if he could bring his team to the next step, because he tasted a little bit of success early on. So now he has more responsibility, I would say. It's funny you bring up San Francisco. I'm curious to see what Trent Williams is this year.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see if he's a guy that now has kind of finally hit that wall and not the same guy. I mean, listen, he's been one of the best left tackles. He's a Hall of Famer. He's been one of the best left tackles in history of the game.
Yep.
I'm curious to see if this is the year that he kind of, starts to show his age. I know that they said in camp, there was times at camp he looked slow and he looked old. So we'll see what he does in the regular season. If that's the case, it could be a long year for Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Now, if they get good Trent Williams, I think he'll be able to be okay, because I feel like they have depth at wide receiver, even though Debo is gone. But I feel like Debo is going to hit the wall eventually too. I feel like he's not going to be what Washington's hoping for.
Oh, yeah.
Ayuk's going to be a little banged up, but I like Pearsall. Juwan Jennings should be, and they have a cast of characters around CMC. It's not just him in the backfield. They have Garendo. They have a couple of guys back there that I think they can kind of just plug in. They've always did a good job of that, of finding other running backs in the draft late and being able to plug in Jordan Mason, who's now in Minnesota. We'll see if he can continue in Minnesota what he did when he started here in San Francisco with his career. He's another one. So I think that they've done a good job of getting other running backs and putting them in there. And so I think they'll be fine in that sense. I think a lot of it triggers, or it has to, with Trent Williams. If he's going to be the Trent Williams of old, he'll be fine. If this is the year that it's like coming to an end, it's good. It could be a long season for San Francisco.
Yeah, I'd say CMC though too, man. Like when he's healthy, that's a whole different team.
Yeah.
When he's not, it's like, and like you said, the other guys were serviceable.
Yeah.
But you have arguably the best running back in the game.
They're allowed to be good because CMC is so great, right? So when he's there, they're able to be good around him. They're a change of pace of what he normally does. So Adam says, "Do you think Dylan Gabriel will do? How do you think he'll do on Saturday? He struggled in practice. I don't really blame him for having a rough practice. He's coming back from an injury. He was banged up through camp. So the kid is a rookie. He's still getting his feet wet. He's still trying to get an idea of what the pace of play is. How will they do on Saturday? He'll probably do what any rookie does, getting their first start. Other than, I should say that. And then Shedeur Sanders went out last week and had a great game, right? But I have a feeling Shedeur Sanders is gonna outshine him this week again, and then we'll have to see what Stefanski has to say about it. Like, will he try to tone it down again? Will he still have Dylan Gabriel ahead of him on the depth chart? Because he's still number 4 in the depth chart, Shedeur Sanders. Dylan Gabriel is 3rd. Something's got to give, because they bring in Huntley last week, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, they have a gazillion quarterbacks. It's like they always say, if you have more than one quarterback, you don't have a quarterback.
Yep.
So we'll see. I think it's going to be. What's your percent Shedeur Sanders starts games this year? Give me your percentage.
That he actually starts at some point?
At some point this season.
I actually think that's a high percentage. I would go as far as like 90.
Wow, I'm going to go I'd say 70-30. I think it's a great opportunity it's going to be a long year. So you're going to get to that point where you're like in week like 13, season's kind of over, right? You're probably like 2-10 or so at that point, 3-9, and you're going to say, let's put the kid in. People are going to come rush to see him in a cold Cleveland home game that they might not have gone to otherwise, and just see what you got. I think it's going to be one of those things.
Yeah.
And if he's able to really put together a string of games, you might have something next year.
Yeah.
You might have something next year. It all depends. I remember hearing how he's not that athletic. He's not that fast, which to me is crazy, because his dad is one of the most athletic players to ever play on an NFL field, right?
Oh yeah.
He looked plenty athletic to me last week.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's media just kind of trying to unhype him or something. Listen, there's a lot of media that does not love his father.
Yes.
So I think you got it where it's like he's somewhere in the middle, because you got a lot of people that overhyped him, and you have a lot of people that underhyped him. So it's going to be somewhere in the middle. Is he the future of the Cleveland Browns? I'm not sure, but I do think he gets some starts this season. And I do think by the end of the year, he's ahead of Dylan Gabriel on the depth chart. I don't remember, there was nothing really special about Dylan Gabriel to me coming out of the draft. I didn't, so he's rooting for Shedeur, the most talented quarterback on the team. I agree he can be. I still think Kenny Pickett could be good on a good team. I think he's one of these guys that you could see having the Geno Smith resurgence, the Sam Darnold resurgence, despite the small hands. I think he could be okay, man. Whether this is his long-term home or not, I don't know. I don't know if Kevin Stefanski's the guy to get it out of him, but I think he'll have a nice career somewhere, whether it's here or not, or Cleveland, I don't know. And I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be a decent quarterback. Now, will any of them win a Super Bowl? I don't think they're Super Bowl winning quarterbacks. I don't think they're all pro quarterbacks, but I think they'll have nice careers somewhere in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree with that. because like Shador definitely has the tools to be a good starting quarterback in the league.
100%.
And like if he's in the right situation, he can flourish. Like at the end of the year, there's not really high expectations for Cleveland, so he's definitely going to get show me what you got starts at the end of the year. Because at the very least, for marketing and ticket sales, he puts asses in seats, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
People want to watch him. So you have somebody like that. At least if you have nothing else to play for, you have that, right?
Yeah.
And that's going to get Cleveland eyes on them, right? Like they're not one of the national marquee teams, but you put a Sanders out there, they're gonna look your way a little bit more.
100%. Yeah, people will definitely be checking out on the NFL ticket for sure.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And I think he'll grow into some of the hype. It just you have to develop, give him patience.
Yeah.
And because he's a rookie, right? But how many times have we seen recently rookies come into the league and just hit the ball rolling? Like hit the ground rolling. Like
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah.
CJ Stroud. Every year there's at least somebody that does,
Even Bo Nix was pretty good last
Even Bo
year.
Nix. And and this year we'll see. Maybe it'll be Cam Ward this year. Who knows? But
Could be,
what I loved about Cam Ward, and somebody else talked about, I think, were they saying it on, it might have been on Pop-Off, somebody mentioned it on Friday. But either way, they asked him how his team was, how the offense was going. He said it was mid. It was all right. Like he basically was not impressed. He wasn't speaking up. He wasn't talking up this big game. He just, it means that there's a lot of work to do, and he's not going to believe the hype. And I can appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's switch gears to listen. It's super early, but let's talk about coaches getting fired, man. Right? Who do we think the first coach is that's going to go this week, man, or this season?
Now it's really dependent on how the teams start off, right?
Yeah.
And the level or how hot their seat is. One definitely that comes to mind, and I've said it before, Mike McDaniels. I'm looking at you, buddy.
He's on the thumbnail for a reason.
There he is, right? Mark Anthony. Oh no, I mean no, but like, you had this allure going into the job that you were this offensive guru, disciple of the Shanahan clan. He does draw up really good plays. Like he is a great football mind, but is he more of an offensive coordinator than head coach? Because to manage a whole team, it takes more than just X's and O's. And I think there's some times where he doesn't get that respect, that some head coaches get when they walk in a room. Like, oh shit, this guy is
like Bill Parcells. Like you weren't messing with Bill Parcells.
Like, no, you're not. Yeah. No, you're not playing around with Bill Parcells. So like, yeah, he's kind of like, he tries to be your friend, and like that's cool. You want to be a player's coach, but when things start falling apart, they're gonna look at you like, bro, where was the structure? Where's the leadership?
Well, I think that's the problem. I think it's 100% the problem with that team. He'd be my guess to be the first coach let go this year, whether it be before the season or before the end of the season or after the season. I think I think he's going to be around no longer than Black Monday, as they call it in the NFL, the day after the season ends. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be. I don't think he's going to be there long term. I think he's going to go somewhere next year and be an offensive coordinator and be a tremendous offensive coordinator again, because he knows what he's doing. It's all those little things. I think it's what ruined Robert Saleh with the Jets. Yeah. He could not put together a game plan as a full head coach. He was a tremendous defensive coordinator. You saw what he did to that defense overnight when he got there, and then you saw what happened to that defense after they let him go and he wasn't there to run it no more. He's a fantastic defensive coordinator. It's the other stuff that he just can't. Hold on 1 second. I just got a text and somebody. Okay, never mind. Someone from one of the other shows just texted me, so I wanted to make sure it wasn't anything like serious. But yeah, he's just not going to be the guy that is going to be able to run a whole team, man. There's a lot of X's and O's, like you said. There's much more than just even X's and O's, right? There's worrying about the rest of the staff. There's worrying about every single player on the team. You're worrying about the locker room. You're worried about the weight room. You're worried about the front office moves. It's not something that every coach can do. You can be the world's best defensive coordinator, the world's best offensive coordinator. It's just not for you to have Turner. Great offensive coordinator could never really win a real, big game. There's a ton of them. I think Ben Johnson's going to be one of those guys in Chicago. It's just going to take him 4 years to learn it, that he's not the guy. And he'll be, I think within 5 years, he's a great offensive coordinator somewhere else again. So yeah, I think it's going to be Mike McDaniel. Another one too, I'm thinking, I could see it being Shane Steichen.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to love really for me in Indy. Again, quarterback issues is it going to be Anthony Richardson? Is it going to be Daniel Jones? Is Daniel Jones even really worthy of being a starting quarterback? I don't even think they have a starting quarterback. And maybe Daniel Jones can resurge the career there. We'll see. But there's really nothing much there. I think you're going to see the tread start to go on Jonathan Taylor, very very shortly. A lot of talk, a lot of hype about Adonai Mitchell last year. He didn't really pan out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we'll see what happens there. I'm not too impressed with the future talent on that team, and I think Steichen's going to be one of those guys. I think this is going to be his last shot, and I don't think they're really going to impress.
Yeah, I agree with that, man. And the other thing that hurts the Colts is that their division is very winnable, right? And
worst division probably in football.
Yeah. So, they've been about a 500 football team the last couple of years, where they shown flashes of actually putting it together, and then they'll go on a 3-game losing streak and lose games that they're not supposed to. So a lot of inconsistency, but when you're a good team, you eliminate that kind of stuff. So they have talented pieces. However, similar to the Dolphins, they can't get over the hump. In certain critical moments, you see them out-coached, attention to detail, stuff like that. And I would say, too, as an honorable mention, depending on how they start or what direction, I think Brian Daboll is another guy that, especially if they get, let's say, the first pick and they're going all in on a quarterback, I could see them changing their the coaching situation, just going fresh, coach, quarterback.
See, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Daboll's gonna be fine. I think because of the whole thing with Jackson Dart, I think they bought themselves a couple of years, man. I think he's got himself at least this year and next year. And now whether or not that should be the case, I don't know. But I think they love the additions they brought on in the first round this year. Abdul Carter looks like he's going to be an absolute monster, and Jackson Dart has looked good as well, right? So I really think he's going to have this year and then next year, and depending on how Dart looks next year is really going to determine. I think he's fine. I think the only thing that can keep him from being here next year is if they go 2-15. I think if they get 5 or 6 wins, he'll be fine.
Yeah, and I'm saying worst case scenario, if they win 2 or 3 games,
he'll be gone then. He's got to at least win. He's got to at least win a couple of games. And maybe not even early, but later in the season. You know how the press is, though. The press will still be press will still be killing them, right? Even though most of the press, I think, is probably echoing what I'm saying right now, saying, "Oh, as long as he wins 5 or 6 games." But to win 6 games, you have 17 games to do it. So if they are at 2-10 at one point, the press is already going to be pounding him to go. And meanwhile, it's he still has time to get to the 5 or 6 wins, man. Relax.
Yeah.
So that's what I think is going to happen. I think they'll win some games late. They got a horrendous schedule, but they got a horrendous schedule. I just think that they got to win some games late. and we'll see what they do. But I think he'll be safe this year unless it's like really, really, really bad. Like 80, what was it, 82, 83 with the Giants when they had the planes flying over with the fucking, what was it called? With the banners. I think unless it's that bad, I think they'll be fine. Even though they've done it the last few years. So we'll see, man. I don't know. I think the two guys is going to be McDaniel, and I think it's going to be Steichen. That's the two guys that need to worry. I think this year more than any of the other ones. They'll probably be a handful, but those are the two I think that probably go first. Just because I don't think there's anything there. I mean, the coverage there. Also, I wouldn't be surprised either is if Dallas gives a one and done to their coach.
Yeah,
because they're going to see. I think it depends on who's out there. If they see a star out there to be a coach next year, I think to make headlines, they're going to go out and get that guy. Schottenheimer's he's not going to be a good head coach. I'm sorry. He's not the guy, bro. It was one of the most surprising things I heard this offseason was when he got that job. I just did not think he was going to get it. I think if he has a year where they have a bad year, I think that he could get just a one and done. And they'll go and they'll get somebody big next year. I think, one of these big guys coming out of college, maybe a Dabo Sweeney. I think that they're going to look to make a move, but not just for anybody. They're not going to replace Schottenheimer with another Schottenheimer. They're going to replace Schottenheimer with. It's going to be like a marquee name. If they can't get a marquee name, they'll stick with Schottenheimer. But I think they're going to look. I think they're going to look at it like unless he reaches certain expectations, they're going to look for that marquee name, and I think that would do him in at that point. So. But speaking of bad teams. Who's the team from last year that was in last place? Do we think that can get into first place this year? Here, what's the team that can go from worst to first? I'm going to pull up the list real quick, and we'll talk about it. Give me a second. Let me pull up standings thing for last year. Let's see, NFL standings. Now I got to switch it over to 2024. All right, New England. They were 4-13 last year. Cleveland 3-14 last year. Tennessee 3-14 last year. The Las Vegas Raiders 4-13 this year. Those are your four, and we'll start with the AFC. Those are your four last place teams. Are any of those teams in those last place teams in that conference? Can any of those come in first place in their divisions?
I mean, I would say no, but if you're asking who had
the best
chance, I would say. Actually, I would take my chances with New England.
Really? You think they could outtake the Bills?
I just think with that coach, man, like he's bringing back kind of like a little bit of Bill Belichick. I like that hire that they made,
The problem with that pick, though, is not only do they have to beat out the Bills, they're going to have to beat out the Jets. They're going to be good this year.
Oh, I mean, the Jets couldn't beat them for like how many years?
I told you, what was it, 2 weeks ago when I talked about the black cloud leaving MetLife? So I'm not worried about that. Here's the thing. Can I tell you the one team, and I don't think they're going to do it, but if there's a team in this conference that can do it, purely based on just having a really bad division, it could be. And hear me out. If he is one of these guys that has this great CJ Stroud type of season, if Houston has another bad CJ Stroud year, if CJ Stroud is what he is, if he's not who the rookie was, but the year 2 guy is, say that's who he is, right?
Yeah.
We can see them beating them out, maybe, right? Indianapolis, we just discussed. We don't expect anything really from Indianapolis. Is Jacksonville going to be better this year? They only won 4 games last year.
I mean, they got to be at least a little bit better.
So would you be surprised if Tennessee, if Cam Ward came out on this crazy run and turned out to be the guy, and maybe you got them 10 wins to win 10 wins won that division last year?
Yeah.
And I'm not saying listen, for Tennessee to add another 7 wins on top of the 3 they had last year, that's tough. I'm not, obviously I'm not saying this is going to happen, but if there's a team in this conference that I feel like Tennessee might have that shot.
The only thing I would say is that Houston has a very good defense. And that
they do.
That's going to keep them in a lot of games, and that might gloss over, any deficiencies CJ Stroud might have.
Mm-hmm.
And only thing Tennessee, man, like they have holes, man.
A ton. They have a ton.
And a lot of things have to go right for that to happen. I just think that New England is just progressing. Like out of the last place teams, I think they're the best last place team. And I think that's why I'm like, if anybody
I
has a chance.
I agree with you on that. I'm not talking about them, how good they can be. I'm talking about I'm saying purely just because the division could be a little suspect.
Oh yeah, I know. I think if New England does things right and you catch the Bills on a down year, I could see that happening because I think the Patriots could at least improve by 5 games, because they were 4-13.
Mm-hmm.
I could see them going 9-8, 10-7 if things really break their way. And who knows? Like the Bills could have a down year, but I don't see like Cleveland. I don't see them even coming close to like Baltimore, right?
No.
And the Raiders in that division, no. So like my second choice would have been Tennessee, but it's just to me is the defense on Houston would not let that happen. But Tennessee is a good, because like you said, it's a very winnable division, right? And if you're gonna have like all the stars aligned for a rookie quarterback, this could happen. But I gotta see it because man, there's too many holes for me to say yes.
Johnny Boy's in here being a Met shill again.
Johnny Boy, thank you, sir.
You know what, Johnny Boy, let me ask you a question, my man. We just talked about it. Your 4 last place teams in the AFC: New England Patriots, Cleveland Browns, Tennessee Titans, Las Vegas Raiders. Which one of those last place teams has the best shot to go from worst to first in their division next year? Let me know what your answer is on that one, bro. In the meantime, let's head over to the NFC. I'll give you the records and the teams right now. For that, we have the Giants at 3-14. We have the Bears at 5-12. The Saints at 5-12. The 49ers at 6-11. What team? To me, there's really only one obvious team. So I think we're going to probably agree on this. But go ahead. Which team do you think? And this is actually a team that not only think could, I think they will.
Yeah, I mean, San Francisco, right? Like they have the pedigree. That division is not really separated by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams have their quarterback injury issues that could kind of cap their win total a little bit,
for sure.
And if you catch him on a week where he's not starting, Stafford's not starting, like you could definitely win that game. Yeah, that's a winnable division for me. Even though they had a bad year, I think San Francisco could definitely bounce back and win the division. But that's the easy answer.
Mm-hmm. Where else? I'd love to say New Orleans because I kind of like New Orleans. I have a soft spot for New Orleans, right? Not probably not after this year because like I think I'm starting to turn into a Bucs fan after the Jets just because I'm down here, got the tickets to the Bucs, so I'm going to be seeing a ton of Bucs games. So I don't think I can actually. But coming into past seasons, I've always been a little bit of a Saints fan. Other conference, I don't got to worry about it.
Yeah.
And just love the whole New Orleans vibe. But anyway, I think that's the worst team in the league this year. I think they're getting the number 1 pick this year. So, which would be awesome. Arch Manning they already said that Arch Manning's not coming out, but how awesome would it have been if Arch Manning could have went to New Orleans where his grandfather played?
I think it could still happen.
It could. Listen, he could change his mind, right? Like, I would love to see that though, right? He's playing down there, and then he gets drafted with the team that started off the whole Manning dynasty, right? The Saints with Archie Manning. So I'd love to. Also, same first name, right? So I'd love to see it. But I think they're going to be the worst team in the whole league. I don't think they're going to have a shot at winning that division.
No.
Tampa and Atlanta, I think, are going to be too strong.
Yeah.
I think Tampa's going to win that division. We'll talk about our division the predictions, in a couple of weeks when Abby's here. But Chicago, I don't think they'll finish in last place in the North, but I don't think they're going to come in any higher than second. Detroit and Green Bay are going to be too tough. I think Minnesota takes a little bit of a dip. And the Giants, we kind of already talked about the Giants, man. Like, come on. Really? Come on.
I mean, if things break good, they could be third place.
Yeah, if the Eagles plane from Dallas crashes, somewhere over wherever on the route back, and then they got to play a bunch of guys from the streets, then yeah, Giants have a chance to win that division. But other than severe devastation to a Philadelphia team and a Washington team, which I don't think is, I think Washington's going to take a little step back, not because of Jaden Daniels. I do think they're putting too much stock in this Deebo Samuel's move. I don't think Deebo Samuel's going to be, I don't think he's the guy that they think they're getting.
No.
I mean, I'm sure they know more than we do, but I've watched that guy play.
Bro.
I've watched some, my best friend on the whole planet is a 49er fan. So I've watched a lot of 49er games just, due to just because, he's not some guy. I just don't think he has it. It's got to be San Francisco, man. And that's a team I really think, I don't think they can. I think they will. I think the Rams will have some injury issues that they got to deal with. Putting Jimmy G in lieu of Stafford's not going to be. Oh man, it's not going to work. Arizona underwhelms every season. I don't think Kyler Murray is an answer there. I think the kid, Marvin Harrison Jr. going to be a stud, but I don't think that's enough to get them over. I think James Conner is going to have a little bit of a dip down. I think he's going to finally show his age after years. I didn't mean to be so loud. I'm sorry. I'm getting told to be. I'm trying to tone it down. That's why I'm not like boisterous. I've been touting Sam Darnold as a reclamation project before he, since he went to Carolina. This guy's gonna, just give him some time. He's gonna be good. He went to San Francisco. I'm like telling you, this kid's someone's gonna turn around this kid's career. And then he went to Minnesota and got with Kevin O'Connell. And Kevin O'Connell resurrected his career. Now he goes to Seattle. I don't think he's going to. I think he's going to wish he was still in Minnesota.
Yeah,
Seattle's going to play, man. In Minnesota, you had Justin Jefferson, you had Aaron Jones, you had Jordan Addison, you had who's the tight end? Hockenson. Yeah. I don't think you have. I love Njigba. I think he's great. There's really not the same weapons in Seattle. Kenneth Walker's decent. He's a decent back. I think Aaron Jones is better.
Yeah.
I don't think the line's quite as good. The line is a little off. I think he's gonna have a hard time playing it. And the weather. Listen, I get it. Playing in Chicago, playing in Green Bay, it's tough. I get it. But Seattle, you're gonna be playing 8 or 9 games in Seattle. It's a tough place to play. Come late October, early November. So I think he's gonna have a little bit of a rude awakening. I think this division is set up perfectly for San Francisco. And again, based on what I said earlier, based on Trent Williams, I really think this team goes as far as Trent Williams allows it to go. If he's going to not be the guy this year because he's banged up and old, it's going to be then it'll be a long season.
Yeah.
If they get Trent Williams at 75%, I think they'll be fine, and I think they win the division.
Yeah,
I think Pearsall's going to be a stud. I think Pearsall, by the end of the season, I'm not saying he's going to be a top 5 receiver, but I think he's going to have enough home run plays that he's going to become a fan favorite.
Last year, he came back from getting stabbed, bro.
Shot.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
I'm like, whoa. How do you, this guy is a special player, man.
100%.
I think he's going to be unleashed. I think it's Purdy has a weapon that he could use you lost Deebo, but you have this guy now to step in and really shine. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, you saw flashes of it last year.
100%.
So this guy, San Francisco, Purdy, this is a big Purdy year, like you said, Trent Williams definitely needs to be there. But if he's not, now it's on you to really be able to get rid of the ball quicker, read defenses. It's not Mr. Irrelevant anymore, right? The narrative is shifted. You've been in the league for 3 years now. Now it's time to show what you got. Are you? I don't want to say fluke because I like Purdy, but are you a product of your environment, or did you have to do with some of that, that Super Bowl run?
So let me give my take on that because I feel like with Purdy, that's a lot of That's what it's been for the last 3 years, right? Is he a system quarterback?
Yeah.
Is he doing something that is because Kyle Shanahan is like the quarterback whisperer, right? But to be fair, there's other guys that didn't play so well, right? Like there's a reason why he was able to beat out other guys because they didn't play as well. Jimmy G, he was decent, but he wasn't as good as Purdy's been, right?
I agree.
There's been other guys that have been there that haven't been as good with the opportunity. Still, having said that, I don't think he's as good. Like, I feel like he's reached his ceiling. I don't think he's going to get better. I think this is as good as he gets because I think it is partly the team he's played, the team he's been around, the team that's been around him, the coaching staff. Do I think he's a bad quarterback? No. Should he have been the last pick in the draft? No. But I also don't think he's a guy that, if you look at like what Brady, and again, I'm not comparing to Brady. So anyway, I can't compare. I'm not comparing to Brady. But if you looked at but even Eli Manning, let's say Eli Manning, because Eli Manning's one of those guys that's been like up and down, right? You could give him bad receivers. Brady, obviously, right? Because he didn't have, there was times in the beginning of his career, he had guys that were good, but not great, right? And he was winning Super Bowl still. But even if you look at like, he didn't have great receivers at times, and he was able to make decent receivers good and good receivers great. Mario Manningham, I don't even know what he's even. I don't even think he's right. Where's Mario Manningham? Right, he had only a couple of years.
Yeah,
but he was good enough to get them to that year when they were in the Super Bowl. He was one of the receivers on that team. Hakeem Nicks wasn't that great, but he played well with the Giants because that situation they had. So he made good receivers better than they were. I don't think you have that with Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, because I mean, generally speaking, like the weapons that he's had are a lot better than the examples that you said with New England and the New York Giants. Definitely, early in their careers, they did not have But to be fair, those New England teams had great.
They got better receivers, and they got better receivers later on. So, like, people are going to be like, "Oh, we had Moss, he had Ellen." I get it,
but they won
early in his career. He didn't have that.
Like they won. Like they controlled the clock. They had great defense and special teams. So it's like, and Bill Belichick managed the game like a chess master, right? And then like with the Giants, they were smash mouth football, right? They ran the ball a lot. So that took a lot of weight off of Eli. So when he had to throw more, the interceptions went up, right? And like, his offensive lines weren't the best, but he was tough as nails.
See, I thought he had some good offensive lines there, man.
Well, towards the end of like that run, like
maybe
in the beginning they did, but then like once the guys started leaving or retiring or get changing teams, like he just wasn't as comfortable in the pocket as he was before. But
he definitely didn't have the running game towards the latter part of his career. He definitely didn't have the line at the latter part of his career. He had good receivers. He still had OBJ there at one point. He had good receivers there.
Burris was a good receiver for him.
Yeah, so like he had those guys. But you're right. Towards the end, after the Super Bowls, they lost a lot of the guys in the offensive line.
And the defensive line that was such a strength for them too. Like those guys retired or left.
Yeah,
but that's what I'm saying. Like San Francisco is very similar, where they're a smash mouth team. Like their defense first. Yeah, they run the football and they kind of play like possession football. Where they could also explode for big plays, because their team was always known as a good like yards after the catch team, right?
Yeah.
I mean, now they might be a little bit older. Some of those guys, like Kittle's still pretty phenomenal. Not as much as a yards after the catch guy, but they stopped letting him block so much and get him a part of the offense, especially with Debo going down in the pecking order. We saw a resurgence from George Kittle, which Purdy's going to use the hell out of him because you need that safety net. Yeah, Yeah.
He's gonna have to. Listen, I love Garendo. They have as one of their backs.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna be just fine in that sense. I think again, to me, it really all depends on Trent Williams protecting the blind side and taking control of that offensive line because he's the guy, right? He's the leader of that offensive line. I like they have a good young center. They have other good young pieces on that offensive line, but he's the guy that really makes it go. And I think as long as he's good, I think they'll be fine. I think Juwan Jennings also has to be healthy. Is he going to be healthy? Like I know he's banged up a little bit in the offseason. They're saying it was worse than they originally thought, but we'll see. But I think Pearsall is going to be a home run threat. Yeah. Again, I don't think he's gonna have 100 catches. I'm not saying like he's gonna put up crazy numbers, but I think he's one of those guys that's gonna turn like a 5-yard pass in the air to be like an 85-yard touchdown. He's like that caliber of a guy to me. I think he's a home run threat. I'd love to see him on some jet sweeps, maybe even. I think he's got a tremendous amount of talent. He's got a tremendous amount of heart, and he's I know on the pop-off, we're doing a series of every week for the last couple weeks, the next few weeks, we're doing our breakout stars for each team. And my guy for the 49ers was Ricky Pearsall. So I really do think he's going to have a tremendous season. And Purdy's going to be good enough to get him the ball. Again, I just don't think Purdy is one of these guys that you could put into another system and him be just good. Like if he ever reached free agency, I think you'd see teams not jump at him.
Yeah.
The only place he was going to get that much money was going to be San Francisco.
Yeah.
I don't, and he would have gotten paid anywhere, right? But he wouldn't have made that money.
What do you think, like, maybe if it's a similar system, because let's say the Dolphins turn the page on Tua, do you think Purdy's a fit in Miami because of the similar system?
Yes. That could be a place he could go. And even better receivers at that point.
Yeah.
Will the team flourish? Because we've already stated what we think of Mike McDaniel, how we don't think he's the long-term solution there at coach. So the team might not play well, but I think he would put up all pro numbers. Another place that would be good for him if things didn't work in San Francisco, Minnesota.
Yeah.
I think he'd be a great fit there because Kevin O'Connell, I believe, Kevin O'Connell's part of the other tree, right? What's the guy? They're McVay and Shannon are part of the same tree, right?
Yeah.
Because isn't McVay part of that father? Shanahan Senior, right? With the father. So I guess they're part of the same tree. Although I think Kevin O'Connell was right. He was directly under McVay, I believe, though, right? So he's off that. He's like a branch off of that limb, or a limb off of that branch, whatever you want to call it. But that would be another place for him to go. I think he'd be good there. Plus, good receivers there. But I don't think he's a guy that you can't put him in. Baltimore.
No.
And him do what Lamar Jackson can do. He's not a guy you could put in Chicago.
No.
And he's not a guy you could put in, and even in Green Bay. He's not a guy you could put on the Jets. He's not a guy you could put on I would say he only would really be really good still on like maybe less than 5 teams in the NFL.
Yeah. Which limits his market, right? But
limits his market. And again, he'd only be good in those and other cities because of the team that's there already and the coaching staff. Do you know what I'm saying? Like he's not like, I think at the time, like I remember when the Jets, when they brought in Neil O'Donnell after the freaking Super Bowl loss to the Dallas Cowboys. And everyone was like, oh, he's a Super Bowl quarterback and blah, 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 blah. And we brought Neil O'Donnell in.
Good old Neil.
Neil O'Donnell. Anyway.
Hey, he had a lot of heart.
Actually, I think that was the one thing he didn't have. He was such a dog. He was a mutt. He was such a mutt. Parcells hated him, bro.
That wasn't a good.
He might have given me the starting job over Neil O'Donnell. That's how much he hated Neil O'Donnell.
Yeah, and like those Steelers teams, bro, they were stacked. They were just weak at quarterback.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the situation. Now I'm not saying he's as bad as Neil O'Donnell is. I'm not saying
No.
It's the same thing where it's a perfect situation for him.
Yeah,
he's not going to go. There's 80 to 90% of the teams that he would go to, other than the 49ers, he wouldn't be what he is. So, All right, man. Let's switch gears because I know we're not going to be on that long time. It's just us, no Abby, and so let's just squeeze in some baseball, bro.
Okay.
And we'll make it quick for everybody at home. Mets Yankees. What's going on?
It's just the dog days.
It was only about a month or so ago that we were talking Subway Series, bro.
Yeah, I mean, every point of a season you go through a stretch like this, right? Last year for the Mets, it happened in May, right, where everything was going wrong, and this is like before they made the turnaround. It's like everything that could go wrong went wrong, and Jorge Lopez throws the glove into the stands, says that we're the worst team in the league. They have the players only meeting, and then all of a sudden, like whatever happens, it starts to click, right?
Yep.
And then they went on a run where they went to the NLCS. We're very competitive against the Dodgers. Nobody was beating the Dodgers last year, but from that turnaround, like most people didn't think from being like 24-35 at that point that they were going to turn it around and even make that deep playoff run. And it took us to the last game of the year on a doubleheader that, we had to make that wild card spot, So it wasn't like it was just easy sailings from May. Like every game was essentially a playoff game, like starting in August, where you're just like, we got the Braves, we have the Milwaukee Brewers, and like all these teams, and now in a similar spot, our lineup has been very inconsistent as a whole. Yesterday we broke out for 13 runs. Shout out to Pete Alonso, breaking the Mets franchise record held by Darryl Strawberry.
Wait, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I love Mad Dog Russo, right? I love him. And I kind of agreed with him today. I don't know if you saw him today. Did you see him today?
No.
Where he killed Gary. Is it Gary Cohen?
Yeah, Gary Cohen.
Because Gary Cohen went off the charts with like that home run call.
Yeah,
it was a bit much.
He's supposed to.
I mean, it's only 250 home runs.
It's okay.
Maybe because I'm a Yankee fan and I see my guys
organization, man.
And my guys have my big dogs have like 500 home runs, 600 home runs. So maybe that's why it's different for me.
Could be. I mean,
but I had this conversation, and I had this conversation with your cousin yesterday when he was trying to more than Darryl Strawberry. And I said the same exact thing. So I said, you know what? 250 is not a big deal to me because our guys get like 500. So maybe that's what it is. And then I go, you know what I think of the Mets? And he goes, what? I don't think of them at all. They're our little brother. I'm not worried about them.
Of course.
Anyway, go ahead. You can praise Pete Alonso. I got that out of my system.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's number one on the list for the Mets, right? So if you're number one on the list, that's a big deal. That record stood for about 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
So like we've always been known as a pitching organization. We never had like a big slugger for like his whole career. We've had like Mike Piazza for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Strawberry for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
David Wright probably would have had that record.
Howard Johnson.
Kevin
McReynolds.
Yeah. For spurts, we've had power hitters.
Kevin Mitchell. Remember how good Kevin Mitchell was?
He was very good. That was a terrible move letting him go to San Francisco.
They did that for the sake of the rest of the team. But let me tell you something. Let's play the what if game. Darryl Strawberry stays clean. Stays with the Mets. He could have been a 500 homer hitter.
100%.
What did he finish with? He finished probably mid threes, right?
Yeah.
Because I know he had some good years with the Yankees.
Yeah.
And Dodgers, I don't think anything really came about. And San Francisco, I don't think anything really came about. But I know with the Yankees, he had some good years.
Yeah.
He could, if he would have stayed clean and not gotten into any trouble, the worst thing for him ever was to leave New York. He should have stayed here, even though Doc wasn't really good for him. Wasn't until he got away from Doc that I think maybe like things. Well, they kind of got better together, I guess. But if he could have just kept his nose out of trouble, with the drugs and everything else. Who knows? I mean, such a beautiful swing, man.
Was, man. And
Gorgeous swing.
let's not forget, like, Shea Stadium was a pitcher's park. So, like,
Mm-hmm.
like he's legitimately hitting bombs out of there, easily. Like that, it was natural power, and if he stays clean and Doc Gooden stays clean, we're having a whole different discussion on Mets history because
for sure
they would have had like 3 or 4 World Series maybe in their peak, with that roster. They got close in '85.
Was it on Prime that did that docuseries on the '86 Mets? Was it Prime that did it?
I think so.
Yeah, I forget where it was, but that was a fantastic series. I think it was like a 7 episodes or 5 episodes, whatever it was, and it was fantastic, man. And just seeing some of the intricacies of what went down, and it was like, and it really was a what if kind of series, like what I mean, what could have been for that team, and the '86 team was crazy, bro. They were crazy,
and bro,
they were rock stars.
They were rock stars, bro. I don't know how they even, were able to play at that level, like with all the other stuff that they were doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like they were smoking cigarettes in the dugout. Like I'm like, wow, imagine doing
crack in the clubhouse.
Yeah, that was just out here because it's culturally acceptable, but in the clubhouse, in the hotel, in the bar, come on, man,
destroying hotel rooms.
Oh yeah.
They were Lenny Dykstra, bro. He might have been the craziest white guy in the world, bro. He was freaking nuts, bro. I wish I remember the name of it. I'm sure if you guys Google it, anyone watching, go Google if you're a Mets fan, even if you're not, if you're just a baseball fan. It was a really well done docuseries. Again, I believe it was on Prime. I think if I remember correctly, I think I watched it all in one sitting. Yeah, it's fantastic series.
You can binge it.
Yeah, so I watched it all. I didn't, the whole sitting. I just watched it. Fantastic series. But yeah, they were rock stars, man. It was a It was a Met City for a few years during that run.
Yeah,
because they caught it at the perfect time. Yankees were horrible. Mets were and Mets just were winning ball games like crazy. And even Davy Johnson had like a little edge to it. He had some edge to him, man. So they had a great run, and it could have been a historical run if it wasn't for a lot of those issues that made them so fun to watch, I guess.
Yeah.
You almost think thank God they didn't have social media back then, because it would have been it would have been crazy. So, but speaking of Pete Alonso, is he here next year? He has an opt out after the season.
I mean, I think he is.
You think he's opting out, or you think he's staying?
I think both. I think he's going to opt out,
and that's going to finally pay him.
Money. Yeah.
Did he get that long-term deal?
I think at this point,
how old is he?
He's, I think, 31.
Let's see. I'm going to take a look real quick. I think I'm going to say you're right. I think it was like 31, 32. At that point, do you give him 4 years?
I say so, because
he's only 30.
He's only 30. Yeah. I say, you can give him a 4 or 5 year deal, and he could transition to a DH if you get somebody else better to play first base. But I mean, who are you going to replace that production with, right? Like right now, he's second in the National League in RBIs.
He's batting 267 right now. Which is if someone was to tell you earlier before the season started, you're going to get 265 for Pete Alonso. Do you sign on for that, or do you take a chance he's going to get higher? You sign on for 265.
Yeah. For a power hitter.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
good.
I don't think he bats any higher than that in his career.
No,
I'll take a look in a second. But so got 28 home runs right now, so he's probably going to hit you a minimum 35.
Yeah,
96 RBIs. So he's going to hit you. He's going to get you at least 115 RBIs. So if I was to say to you, he's going to bat 267, or say 265, 35 home runs, 115 ribbies before the season even started, with all the stuff you got to deal with during the offseason, do you sign up for that?
Oh yeah.
And if he stays healthy, that's the minimum what he'll have. He'll have more than he'll put together more numbers than that if he stays healthy the rest of the year.
Oh yeah, and it also depends on the other guys around him. So like his RBIs could even go higher. Like
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like
119 hits.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find what's his career average. Let me see. His career batting average is only 251. He's hitting 16 points higher than his career batting average.
Yeah, and believe it or not, I thought he's made strides defensively as well. So he's not so much of a defensive liability. So like, and he's one of the leaders on the team, man. Like,
he's the heart and soul of the team.
Yeah, you don't bring him back. Who are you replacing him with? Like, Vlad Guerrero re-signed with Toronto, so all that talk is done. So you got to re-sign Pete. He's going to be one of those Met lifers.
Is this his wife? I'm going to be honest. I'm impressed with his wife.
Yeah, I mean, hey.
Oh, that's his mom.
I was about to say. I'm like, what?
She's not bad for his mom, I guess. Yeah. She's, if he's 30, she's like 50-something. She looked all right for 50-something. At first I thought it was his wife. I was like, Pete Alonso, what are you doing? But yeah, he's got a pretty mom. Yeah, I think he definitely opts out. And I think the Mets play hardball again with him this year, but I think they ultimately give him 3 years at like 85 mil. And would you take that?
I would.
I mean, we would. Would Pete Alonso take that?
I think he's going to ask for more, personally.
But will they give him more? I mean, they're already paying what they're paying to Lindor. They're already paying what they're paying to Soto. There's going to be other guys they're going to want to look into. I think they're already looking into the big Japanese player that's coming out this year. I'm blanking on his name.
Third baseman.
Was it Mirakama, something like that?
Yeah,
Mirakawa,
the lefty.
The guy has has the Arabu hair. Hair looks like Arabu's hair used to be. Hideki Arabu. So they're going to be, if they go after him, they're going to pay him a bunch. They're paying a lot of guys a ton of money. I think they say, listen, we want to bring you back 3 years. He's not going to get 30 mil. Who else gives him $30 million for the season, each season?
I don't think anybody does, but I think because what he means to the franchise, I think to the Mets, his value is higher. But to get it outside, like let's say like the Cubs, if they wanted a first baseman or anybody else that needed that, they're probably going to give him about 25 a year, 28, like in that range.
This contract, I believe, was it 25?
For this year, I thought it was like maybe like what 27.
Because they gave him I think he gets 20 million next year. Let me see. Pete Alonso contract.
Yeah, it was kind of front loaded.
Yeah. Which they did. Yeah, all right, so he's on a 2-year, $54 million. And at a $10 million signing bonus. So he got like $34 million this year, and next year he gets 20.
Okay. I mean, that you're expecting like regression towards like the end of the contract, so I think they might factor that in. But
I could see a 2-year with the third year being an option.
Yeah,
and I could see it being a mutual option where they both get the option. With like an X amount with an X amount buyout, with like whatever it would be a buyout.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And if he does want the $30 million a year, you're gonna see a shorter term contract for sure. But like
he signed 2 for 54 at 28. No, at 29. So that means at 31. That's if he completes the season. It's going to be a 30. How long can it be productive for? Not in the field, at the plate. How long can it be at the plate? I'm not worried about, because you said they can move him to DH. I'm not worried about the field. I don't care about his fielding right now. Purely talk about him at the plate. How long can he still be productive?
I'd say at least 5 more years.
You think he could hit For 5 more years, averaging what, like 30 home runs a year?
Yes, because like he's a home run hitter. Like that's his thing. As long as he's in a lineup where he can do that, and he's able to, do what he does. Like he has easy 30 home run
Potential.
power.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I fear the average dipping.
it could.
I could see him like in a year or two being like a 220 something hitter.
But see, that's where like now, like as you get older, your eye has to develop. So if he
Mhm.
starts taking walks, limits the strikeouts, right there, his average will go up.
His on base at least goes up, right? And that's really who cares about it. At the end of the day, everyone worries about the on base percentage and the OPS. But yeah, man, I don't. If I can look at the numbers and can guarantee that that he could still hit 260 2 years from now. Again, that's over his career average. Like we already said, he's hitting 16 points above his career average this year. I would sign on at that. Give me if he could just hit his career average at 250 over the next 4 years, hit me 30 bombs a year, 100 RBIs a year. Yeah, I with the way the market's going, is that a 30 million a year guy? Yeah, maybe 3 years from now it is.
Yeah.
And you take into account his meaning to Mets lore. He's their home run leader.
Yep.
He's there. He's been the guy here for X amount of years. I might do it.
And
I might do it.
I think his batting average went up also because I don't want to say the Juan Soto effect, but I think he's
that's a fair. But Juan Soto is going to be here, and Juan Soto is going to be effective for a very long time still. So that's going to be something that's going to benefit him still. Like it's not going to say, well, how long is Juan Soto is just getting started. You know what I mean? Like 100%. Juan Soto is going to be one of the best players in the league for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
Still. So and Lindor is another guy that is not going away anytime soon. So he's got a good lineup around him. Could even get better. Pedro Alvarez hit another 2 bombs yesterday, right? He could be another guy that's growing up with the team. Mauricio is another guy. Like, so you have a lot of young talent too that's gonna be part of this going forward. And you need you need an older guy like Alonso that's been playing and that knows the ins and outs of Citi Field, that can be kind of like a mentor to some of these young kids. So I think there's so many reasons other than what he does in the field that you keep him, just for the clubhouse sake.
Yeah.
At the plate. Again, I'm not worried about his defense. I'm not worried about his defense.
Yeah, me neither. And it makes too much sense, bro, to just re-sign him.
Yeah, I think he'll be here. All right, so let's topic of the night, and then we'll get out of here. We talked about it before, the AL West and the NL West. Both divisions are tied. We got Seattle tied in first place with the Houston Astros. And in the National League, we have the Dodgers tied with San Diego. Let's start in the American League first. Who comes out on top in that division? What's your thought?
Man, I think it's going to be close because I like both teams.
Seattle is red hot right now. I think they won like 9 out of the last 10. They are red hot right now.
They are, and I think they actually have a team that's built for October.
Mm-hmm.
With that starting pitching staff and their bullpen,
and they added to the lineup.
Yeah,
they got some pop in that lineup now.
Naylor, is very unsung hero because he makes a lot of contact for a bigger guy, and he's only like 5'11", but he's husky, right? So you're thinking, oh, this guy's a power hitter. No, he hits gap to gap. So his approach fits in perfectly and complements a guy like Suarez, who's more, swing and miss, but he's a old school slugger type of guy, right? Definitely lengthens their lineup because Cal Raleigh kind of like slew down a little bit after the All-Star game.
I wouldn't say slowed down. I think he's still hit a couple home runs the other night, right? I mean, like he's still
on Raleigh that, track. Yeah,
I mean that was
a little bit of a slump.
He's just not robotic right now as far as doing what he did. Like he's not like He was on an absurd pace. Like he's he's back to a good pace.
Yeah. But like, I like Wu as a start. Like to me, he's their best starter of the bunch. But Gilbert is really good.
Mm-hmm.
Even Castillo
I
is
love Castillo. I wanted him to be a Yankee so bad on that trading deadline.
but dude, like what he's what, like maybe the 3 or
He's
4
the three. I'd say the three.
starter? Yeah, like that's a very good third starter. Like,
He's been up and down this year, but when he's on, I feel like he's on.
yeah, and in the playoffs, like you're not asking the starter to go 7 innings, right? Like if he gets through the batting order like twice, and you can hand the ball off to somebody else in the bullpen and give it to Munoz to close him out, that's going to be a very tough team to beat. But I say that to say this. I think Houston wins the division because all the guys that are coming off of the injured list soon, they've been winning despite, Yordan Alvarez being out most of the year. He's going to get healthy and come back into that lineup. Who they just got Carlos Correa back, who's kind of like seamlessly fit right back into the chemistry. Altuve's still doing his thing. That team has a championship pedigree, and they've been here so many times. Like they're just built for this time of year, right?
Yeah.
And I think their pitching is going to get better too and healthier. They've had starting pitching, injuries, and they still have Josh Hader as their
At the back end,
closer.
yeah.
Like they're built too for a playoff run, even though their pitching isn't as good as Seattle's. But I kind of trust their grit more. They're more battle tested than Seattle.
I'm going to go with Seattle because I think what we're seeing right now is a team that's improved over the deadline. And I think they have enough swagger to not care about the Astros. I think a young team can be like all the reasons you said are the reason why a young team could be scared of. And I'm saying that Seattle's aren't really that young, but you get what I'm saying. A team that really hasn't been in this spot, really. The Astros have a lot of stuff that would scare a team not used to playing at this point in this, with something to play at this point in the season. I think that they have the type of guys with enough swagger that they don't really care. Eugenio Suarez, for some of his deficiencies, one thing he has is he's got an electric bat. He also doesn't care.
Yeah.
He's not scared. He's not scared of anybody. He's not scared of another. He's not scared of the Astros. And I think inserting him into that lineup is not only going to help you at the plate. I think it's also going to help you with the rest of that team creating that vibe. There's a reason why they are on such a hot streak after adding these new guys. And I think he's a big portion of it. Obviously, he was like the big trade chip this year. I think that they take this division. Now, what it translates in the playoffs is anybody's guess, right? Because the playoffs are such a crapshoot nowadays with the bye and this and that, and with the extra rounds. But I think it gets them the division. I think they take the division here in the AL. And again, I agree with everything you said about Houston. I think Seattle's just going to play so loose that it gives them that leg up.
Well, they should. And I think the key is also Julio Rodriguez.
Yeah, we didn't even mention him.
Yeah, like if he's now just got to worry about playing baseball because now his supporting cast is a lot better. You don't have to carry the team. You could just go out there and play loose.
100%.
I could see him going on a hot streak and carrying this team as well at the top of the lineup. And they still have Randy Arozarena. That's a really good player too, who's been very clutch. In the big moments, he's come up, real big. There's a lot to like about Seattle. I just need them to do it when it counts. In a big series at the end of the season, I don't know if they play Houston at like the final week of the season, but like I
You know
want to
what?
see if it comes down to them and Houston, this 3-game series, the winner wins the division. Are they going to go out there and do it, or are they gonna, come up small in the big moments?
Well, they got your Mets Friday
Yeah,
for the
Friday.
weekend.
Yeah,
That's a big series. Then they got Philly. That's another big series.
yeah,
Philly, after that, the A's not so much. But then they got you know what? They got a tough bunch of games coming up, man. Because
yeah.
Mets, Phillies, two tough series. Obviously, the A's not tough, but then they got San Diego, who we're going to talk about in a minute. Then they got Cleveland, and then I picked the wrong one. I got to just move over to September. There we go. Then Tampa, meh. Atlanta, meh. St. Louis, meh. They don't play Houston again and they play them in Houston until September 19th through the 21st, that weekend, September 19th weekend. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
They finished the season against the Dodgers.
Well, the Dodgers, depending on how that goes, they might be resting their guys, but.
And the series before the Dodgers is the Rockies.
Oh.
So they got a tough series in Houston, come home to play the Rockies for 3, and then they stay home again and they play the Dodgers for 3 at the end. So you're right. Like they should be able to whoop up on Colorado if they're all close in that Houston series, which that Houston series could decide the division.
Yeah. And that's what I'm circling on the calendar. Like, if you go out there and win 2 out of 3 and just say, look, you're going to have to outdo us because now we got like the Rockies and we're going to put ourselves in the best position to win this division and say, you know what, there's a new sheriff in town, right? But I would also say an X factor in that division in who's going to finish where is the Texas Rangers. They could play spoiler to one of these two teams because they've been coming on hot lately. And I don't know, man. Like, they have good pitching as well, where they might make a wild card run. And
they could,
Evaldi and DeGrom have been having great seasons. And if that lineup wakes up,
here's why that series would be important for Houston. I mean, for Seattle, that Houston-Seattle series. Here's why it's important for Seattle. Again, they have the Rockies after. That's a cakewalk. But then they have the LA Dodgers after that. Here's why it's even more important for them to beat the hell out of Colorado and really play well against Houston. Houston, after they get done with Seattle, has the Athletics, who are a team without a home right now, playing in Sacramento in a minor league ballpark. And then they have the Angels. So they could go 6-0 in those last 6 games.
They could.
It's going to be tough sledding. Yeah. So maybe I might switch. I might take Houston now. But
hey, to be the man, you got to beat the man, right? Ric Flair said that.
Yeah. So, all right, man. So yeah, it's gonna be a fun season the rest of the way in the AL West. Going to the NL West, we got San Diego, we got LA. Who do you got? We'll go to you first. Who do you got coming out of that one?
Man, I'm inclined to say San Diego. And the Dodgers, for whatever reason, haven't been playing on all cylinders all year. A lot of it, I think, has to do with Mookie Betts having a down year.
Maybe the worst year of his career.
Yeah. I mean, offensively, like, the power isn't there. His batting average is in the 240s. They were banking on him to have a Mookie Betts kind of season, right?
Yeah.
But also, like, that team's getting a little older. Freddie Freeman is still a great player, but he's just getting older. I think this team is going to start slowly breaking down. We see, San Diego in their prime. I think like Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis, Luis Arias. Like these guys are primed. I think I like their lineup a little
I
bit
do
more.
too, Wu-Tang. I hate him too.
Man.
I hate him too.
I do too until last year.
Yeah, well, of course.
But and all the pitching injuries that the Dodgers have had to overcome this year.
They had to overcome it last year too.
But it seems different this year because I haven't seen somebody step up and take that ace mantle, right? Like Yamamoto's good, but how good is he? Like, are you starting him game 1 in the series? Like, who's their game 1 starter? Because like it's not Kershaw, it's not Ohtani.
It's probably Is it Ohtani? Not Ohtani? Is it not Ohtani just because he's not back fully yet? And you can't
I think so.
So next year could be Ohtani.
Next year could be Ohtani.
I think you have to go Yamamoto.
Yeah, and I think that's where the disadvantage is because now this is going to be his first time in the big time playoff baseball. The San Diego pitching staff has been excellent, especially in their bullpen. They have Mojarón, they have Suarez, they have a couple of guys there, and then they got Mason Miller to really solidify that back end of the bullpen. Like, dude, imagine like you got to go through those 3 guys, and we're not talking about Nick Pivetta or King or
he's going to be back soon. I think did he come back yet?
I think he's coming back soon.
He's going to be back very, very soon. I don't know if he's back just yet. I know that I saw in the report saying that he was going to be back very soon. So I don't know if that happened yet, but either way, he'll be back in time for the playoffs.
Yeah.
He's the reason why I look back and say that Soto trade sucks.
Yeah.
If you would have kept Soto, different story. But that's my regret because we didn't keep Soto. We at least would have still had Michael King here. And so.
But who are you going with in that NL West?
To me, it's just so much harder of a question than the AL West.
Yeah,
because it's you're talking about a team that is really good, just hasn't never really gotten a chance to put it together completely and get over the hump in San Diego. And then you got the Dodgers. You say, okay, they're not playing like they should, based on the money they spend, based on the roster they have. But health has been an issue. Certain players not playing to the standards that they have set on the back of their baseball cards. Mookie Betts, for one. Most importantly, there's this thought that you feel like they're such a good team, though. Then do they get it together in time to win the division?
They could.
They very well could. But I do think what you're saying is very accurate with the pitching. I think this is going to be. I think this is going to be the Padres' year now. Well, whether that means crooked commish. Is he a top prospect?
I think he is.
I'm not sure where he is on their prospects. Crooked commish seems to be very excited about it. So
it's like he's a Cubs fan.
There you go. So back to the Padres though. I think they can do it. And the Dodgers, to me, like I said, why wouldn't they get it together?
Yeah, I mean they have the talent right
into the season. So right, so there's that. But I there's just something that feels like this could be a nice magic ride for San Diego. I'd love to see them. Listen, I hate the Dodgers. You know what I think about the Dodgers? I said it before earlier what I think about the Mets. You know what I think about the Dodgers? I think I hate the Dodgers. I don't worry about the Mets. I won't worry about the Mets if there's a reason to worry about them. So far, for all this time that I've been on this planet, I've never had to worry about the Mets. Even back in 2000, where, if you remember correctly, when Alzheimer's Day, I don't know if you saw the video by Derek Jeter. Took a little shot at your Mets.
Well, of course, he wants to stay relevant, so
he's the captain. He's El Capitan. He's always relevant. But
to the Yankee fans.
So let's see. Yes, he is. He just found the show. He wants to say LA is going back to back. If they should.
I think that this is a year though that they're ripe for the taking. The Dodgers.
The whole league is though. Who's the scary team in the whole league?
Honestly,
who's the scary team in the whole league?
Milwaukee, bro.
Well, the way they've been playing for the last couple weeks.
Yeah,
but
like the way they play the game though is just they play the right way. They can play small ball. They fundamentally pitching, defense, like they're hard to beat, man. But anybody could get hot.
And Yelich is back. Yelich is back.
He is.
He had some down years for a little bit there, but he's back.
They made Paul Skeens look human yesterday.
Mm.
They're a team that I have my eye on, but any team could get hot though. Like Philly could get hot, the Mets could get hot, the Cubs could get hot. I think it's pretty even. Like I don't think the Dodgers are that much better than the rest of the National League.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Last year, you knew the Dodgers were the best team in the National League. Last year, you knew the Yankees were the best team in the American League.
No, we didn't really know that.
Oh, we knew that. Who else? Don't be a Yankee hater. Be honest with me. Just be a baseball fan. We knew the Yankees were the best team in the league last year. Everyone on the Brooks can be tested for PEDs. Why isn't it popping up? I'm trying to pop up. There we go. Yeah. I always say, man, if juicing makes my experience better, everybody juice. I don't care. I'm not worried about the juicing, man. But having said that, last year we knew who the clear-cut favorite in the National League was. We knew who the clear-cut favorite in the American League was. This year, I don't think there is a clear-cut favorite anywhere. And it's one of those things, as a Met fan and as a Yankee fan, as bad as we're playing right now, our teams are playing right now, you look at it like, all right, if we could just right the ship in the next couple weeks.
Just got to get hot at the right time.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we're still a bunch out. Like, I get it. The Yankees are really still a bunch out. I still don't feel like we're not going to make the playoffs, though.
You should still make the playoffs.
I feel like we're going to hit another hot streak. We just haven't gotten there yet. But listen, we were missing Aaron Judge for a little bit. He came back. He took a little bit to get his feet wet again. Hit another bomb yesterday. I think he'll be just fine going forward. I think they'll be okay. And I think they'll make the playoffs. Now, what we do in the playoffs, I don't know. Because, again, I don't feel confident about any team. Like, this could be – this is – I feel like if I gave you – I could rail off 6 names in the American League. You could probably say, yeah, any one of those teams can make the playoffs. I mean, make the World Series. Like, all right, let's – real quick, and then we're going to get out of here. Let me bring up the standings again. And you tell me if they could get to the World Series.
Okay.
All right. Toronto, can they be a World Series team this year?
Definitely.
Can the Yankees be a World Series team this year?
I'm going to say no, just because of their pitching injuries.
You're supposed to say no. That's not part of the game. All right, Boston. Can Boston be a World Series team this year?
I'm going to say no.
Okay.
Not yet.
Can Detroit be a World Series team this year?
Yes.
Can Houston be a World Series team this year?
Yes.
Can Seattle be a World Series team this year?
Yes. Like those 4 teams, I think.
And you wouldn't be surprised if any one of them got there, right?
Nope.
What about Cleveland?
And I would say
they've been pretty good lately.
No.
They've been playing better. I think they won like 7 out of the last 10.
I think that's a team that gets exposed in the playoffs.
Okay. So that's 4 teams that you wouldn't be surprised if any one of those 4 teams made the World Series.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that the Yankees or the Red Sox don't have it in them to make a run. Like, it could happen.
You just don't see it.
I just don't see it. Not this year.
Okay. Now let's go to the National League. Can the Phillies make the World Series this year?
Yeah, definitely.
Can the Mets I know you're going to say it. Can the Mets make the World Series
this year? Of course.
Okay. Take the hat off. Milwaukee, obviously.
Yes.
Can Chicago make the World Series this year?
Yes.
That's 4 teams right there. Can Cincinnati make the World Series this year?
No.
They're 64-58.
I don't think they can.
Okay. San Diego, can they make the World Series this year?
Yeah.
Can the LA Dodgers make the World Series this year?
Yeah.
So that's 10 teams that we wouldn't be surprised if they made the World Series this year.
Yeah, and it could be 12.
Has it ever been? But has it ever been 10 this late in the season? That, like I said, last year, by this point in the season, you were pretty much sure it was going to be the Dodgers, and you were pretty much sure it was going to be the Yankees, unless somebody got extraordinarily hot, and one of the other teams, the Yankees or Dodgers, just like completely imploded.
Yeah, it's the most wide open I've ever remember it being. Like
That's what I'm saying.
And I think that's good for the sport, though.
Oh, it's fantastic for the sport.
And I'm not saying, because I actually like the Cincinnati Reds, because I'm a big believer in Terry Francona. Like, I think he's legit. But I just think
I love Ellie De La Cruz.
That lineup needs a little bit more around Ellie, just to make a World Series run.
They could really be, let me ask you a question. Can Ellie Cruz, in the next 5 years, how old is Ellie Cruz? He can't be
he's like 26?
23.
23, wow.
Within the next 4 years, can he be one of the best? Can he be a top 5 player in baseball?
I think offensively.
Oh, yeah, well, that's what I'm talking about.
I mean, yes, if he's healthy, the power speed combo is very rare. And
he's a fun player to watch too, man.
He is.
He's full of life. He enjoys it. I feel like he enjoys the game. I love watching him play.
Just the freakish plays that he can make on a daily basis. I'm a big fan of his.
What do you say? We need a good Olympia in the whole organization.
Yeah, like he need to clean out the organization with there's some bad juju he's saying that's in the clubhouse. It could be.
Yeah, it's Juan Soto. You took a guy who's money hungry, me first. So go ahead, take him. I
mean, I think we're still winning. No, we're losing.
What's the score right now? I have the Yankee game on. They're losing. Who's up right now?
A 9-run fourth inning.
Roger Clemens' son is up right now in the Yankee game.
Roger Clemens.
Hey, did you see what happened to Mo in the old timers game?
That was sad. Shame? He's such a classy guy,
I love him. Him and Jeter are my 2 favorite Yankees of all time. And then also, 9 years ago today, a little bit of Yankee history. Do you know about it?
9 years today?
9 years today. What happened 9 years today?
Was it August 13th?
Mm-hmm.
2016?
Mm-hmm. What could have happened that would be making Yankee history?
Shit, I don't know.
I'm going to give you a trivia question.
Okay.
Aaron Judge hit a home run in his first at-bat 9 years ago today. It was the second of a back-to-back jacks. The player before him, also his first career at-bat, hit a jack. So 2 guys went back-to-back, hit their first career at-bats, hit their first jacks, home runs. Second one was Aaron Judge. The first one was blank.
Trying to remember that roster. Was it
part of that whole baby bomber experience?
Was it Gary Sanchez?
No, and I actually was about to give you a hint that he's not on the team anymore. I don't even know where he is actually.
What, Miguel Andujar?
No, Austin Tyler.
Oh, Austin Tyler! Wow, yeah, forgot about that guy.
Yeah, I totally forgot about him too. Like I remember Greg Bird all the time. I remember Gary Sanchez all the time. I remember Miguel Andujar. I don't know what Greg Bird is anymore. I know what the other guys are. I don't know what Greg Bird is. But I was like, wait, Austin Tyler, is he even in the league anymore? We had a lot of problems with him at one point.
Yeah.
So I don't know I got to look him up. I got to see where he is.
Yeah, he might be out of the league, man.
Maybe he doesn't have anything to do. He wants to join the show for a little bit. We can have him on.
Why not?
Braves scored 9 runs in the 4th. Well, yeah. There you go.
There you go.
Who was pitching?
Uh,
11-6 right now.
yeah. Who started? It was
Oh, that's right. It was Peterson. I forgot all about
Peterson.
that.
Yeah, he
Peterson
gave up 6.
gave up 6 runs. And then, yeah, tough sledding. Soto hit another bomb. He's got 29. He turned his season around.
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, he's going to put up his numbers, even though like he was under the microscope in the first month or so.
You guys are up 6-0.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
Yesterday we were up 5-1 and they tied it. And if it wasn't for like Nimmo hitting a 3-run homer and just changing that momentum yesterday, the Braves could have beat us yesterday. But more of the same. It's funny because I actually have a rant for today, right? And it is a baseball rant.
Go ahead, man. Rant it.
I'm coming after the Minnesota Twins.
Okay.
You soft organization.
They are.
Since 2002, you were 24-124 against the New York Yankees.
They are our little bitch boys, yes.
Like, what is that? Like, what kind of ownership have you seen in recent memory of one team beating another team? It doesn't matter if they're playing in Minnesota, in the Bronx, in Transylvania, on the moon. It's
different rosters even. The rosters have been different over these years.
Yes. Like, this is almost, 23 years of dominance.
It's crazy.
In the playoffs, like they get swept every time they play the Yankees.
Dude, I don't get it, man. You're right. I don't get it. I'm trying to think of another team like
it's a head scratcher, bro.
I'm sure the Mets. I'm sorry. I'm sure the Jets have teams that they didn't. Like, we lost like
to the Patriots.
How many games straight did we lose to the Patriots? Right? Yeah, like we lost a million games to the Patriots.
There was a time in the NFL in the 70s, the Dolphins swept the Buffalo Bills the whole decade.
Really?
Yeah. So like that was dominance. I think the Spurs in their heyday, I think they won like 17 or something in a row against the Golden State Warriors. Something crazy like that. But to sustain this, and this is what makes this fascinating to me, over 23 years of different rosters, different managers, different philosophies, different ballparks. They had the Homer Dome back then.
That's right.
Now it's Target Field where it's outside in Minnesota. And old Yankee Stadium, new Yankee Stadium, different managers, pitchers, like it really doesn't matter. And there was some good Twins teams.
Really good Twins teams. And really good Twins players.
Yeah. And mind you, during this time, they had guys like Johan Santana, who won 2 Cy Youngs with them.
Corey Hunter.
Gold Glove, All-Star, right? Joe Mauer, one of the best catchers in the league, right? Justin Morneau. Good first baseman. Yeah, like
fantastic first baseman, yeah.
I mean,
they've had players.
They've had players, man. And it's like, really?
And the Yankees haven't been great. Like, what was it? Like, we missed the playoffs in 1 or 2 of those years. We still own them. Just, when you got it, you got it. I don't know.
It's just mind-boggling to me that, like, with all the, and I don't want to say randomness, but like with all the things that could happen in a baseball game, that it's that skewed. Like, you're 100 games under 500 against a team for
over the last 20 years.
Yeah, dude, that's unacceptable, man. Like,
I wish we played them 50 times a year.
Hey, if you were in the Central, you could make it happen.
We got to see if we can switch that around. Minnesota's not that far out west. We can make them in the East, no?
Yeah, or make it North, and just have like the North and the South.
Speaking of which, we got to do a segment on one time. We got to realign the NBA. The NBA is off. The NBA needs NBA needs realignment.
They do, but I think the NFL kind of does as well.
Oh, Mm,
I mean,
yeah.
with if you're going geography wise, but like tradition wise, I get why the NFC East is the NFC East, but Dallas is not an East team.
No, they're a Central team. We're a South team.
Yeah,
No, you're right. Carolina could be in the East.
could be. Why? I mean, the Dolphins could be in the South.
Yeah, and even if you go to like even with the NBA, New Orleans is not that far west, man. New Orleans
No.
should be an Eastern Conference team.
Yeah. I mean,
So
but you have that central part of the country where it's like, is it an East? Because like I think like Chicago is more of an East Coast city than a West Coast city.
wait, I gotta look at a map. Milwaukee is an Eastern Conference team, obviously, right?
Yes.
The Wolves are a Western Conference team. But isn't Minnesota east of Wisconsin?
I think parts of it are.
How much of an idiot that I am that I'm like, I don't know. We can look at a map.
Well, is Memphis a Western team?
They shouldn't be. They shouldn't be.
Like, how are they a Western Conference team? You know, Milwaukee is an Eastern team, but
Oh no, Wisconsin's east, Minnesota's west.
okay.
I thought it was the other way around.
But even so, you know, like Chicago's on that line, right?
So like Memphis. Yeah, Memphis is in Tennessee, so that's like it's right above Alabama.
Yeah, that's pretty east to me.
Listen, the Bulls are further west.
Yeah. But they Chicago feels like an East Coast team. I think that's kind of like
No,
why.
but I'm just saying in comparison to what you're saying, like Memphis should be an East Coast team because they are.
Yeah. Well, in hockey, they're west. The Chicago Blackhawks are in the West, but they're in the East in the NBA.
What if we got rid of conferences? Hear me out. What if we got rid of conferences? We're going on a totally different on the show, but it's just real quick, and maybe we talk about this in more depth with abs. What if we get rid of conferences in all sports?
In all sports,
and just have divisions? Put together 8 divisions. You can have a Northwest, Southwest, South Central, North Central. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. But then you're gonna have the pushback from the traditionalists that
Oh, and I am one of them. If somebody else would have said this to me, I'd be like, "Shut the fuck up."
Yeah, and I'm with you on that too because I actually like the conferences. It gives, I don't know, for whatever reason, you have like those rivalries. Like you have even intra-conference rivalries, like Dallas and San Francisco back in the day, right?
Yeah.
Or
Bills in Kansas City right now.
Bills in Kansas City right now. The Colts and the Patriots years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Even like go way back, like the Steelers and Raiders. Like they've always been like these not division rivals, but conference rivals where you see them in the playoffs every year. And it's like, and there's something there. And I think you lose that when you just go to no conferences, just one whole league, maybe do divisions. But that kind of hurts it. Just like if baseball were to eliminate the American and National League, like that kind of like.
Well, if you put the Mets, say they did, hypothetically, because again, I don't think they should do it, and neither do you. So we're just playing hypothetical. Could you imagine if the Mets and Yankees played in the same division, how much more of a heated rivalry that would be? It's heated now, and really neither of us have to do with anything to do with the outcome of the other. Could you imagine if we were in the same freaking division? Same thing with the Jets and Giants. There's no real hatred with the Jets and Giants. The Mets and Yankees there is, but the Jets and Giants is not. Can you imagine if they were finally in the same division?
Oh, there would be,
and there definitely would be. And if it was Mets Yankees, dude, there'd be some. There's already fights in the stands now. But it would be a heated rivalry. It would be on. It could possibly be on par with Boston Yankees.
But and just to add to that, like if you added the Red Sox and the Phillies to that division,
oh yeah,
that would be wild.
probably the roughest cities in the whole country to play sports in is Philly, Boston, and New York, and you're putting them all in the same powder keg of a conference or of a division.
I would actually like that though.
That would be fun. That would be really fun, bro.
And just the fan bases,
that's what I'm saying. It's
like,
the wildest cities to play sports in, bro. With the fans are just that rabid.
And the TV, like watching the games on the TV when there's actually meaningful baseball in those cities, it's a lot different there than everywhere else.
And you have 4 teams that all spend money.
Yeah.
It's not like now where it's all right. So let's just take the AL East. Rays don't spend money. Yankees do. Baltimore doesn't really.
No, they're cheap.
Toronto, they don't want to, but they have. But they don't really. You can tell they don't. They don't really want to. So, but the Boston and New York, Yankees and Red Sox are willing to spend like drunken sailors.
Yeah.
Now, if you take Philly, who also loves to spend money, and the Mets, who also love to spend money, that would be. I would love to just watch that. Give me that as the league for a year. I don't even care about the other teams. Give me that.
The only, I guess, counter to that would be, do you think that now we lose some of that in the playoffs? Because now, like, those are 4 of the best teams in the league, right?
Oh, yeah. Because they're going to cancel. Someone's going to cancel the other one out.
And then, like,
a team that sucks is going to get in.
Yeah. Just, they elevate to
Pittsburgh all of a sudden becomes decent.
Yeah.
But it would be but it would be a fun division, bro.
It would be. But and that's, you're banking on
so top heavy.
It is top heavy. And that, I guess that's why they have divisions.
Yeah, to break it up.
But I mean, back in the day, just to win, the division in baseball was crazy. When they just had an East and a West. Mm-hmm. So like there could be like 4 teams that were like,
yeah, there's no World Series. There was no playoffs. There was just the World Series back in the day. It really, we don't go far back. It was the top 2 teams of each league.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I get it. Like it could happen. It'll just feel like 100 years ago where it's like, and that's doing it without leagues or without divisions then, right? Like you would, that's the only way, like you could do an East and a West and just have them in the same conference, top 4 teams make the playoffs, something like that. But like,
isn't that how they do the WNBA?
So, yeah, I think so.
4 less teams. I think. Let me double check. It's 4 less teams, so obviously it's not the same situation. But standings, conference. Yeah, just 2 conferences. They have the Eastern and Western. Each team has like 6 or 7 teams.
Yeah. So it's
the Lynx already 27-5. They're like Lynx are scary good this year.
Yeah, I think they're the favorites
by far. They're like 6 games above the next team, which would be the Liberty of the other conference in the Eastern. So, but yeah, man. I guess we got like almost 50 in the building, but it is pretty much time to go, man.
Yeah.
So Abs, we can't wait to have you back next week.
Yes.
I don't like hosting, man. Especially when I gotta kind of talk a little bit quieter.
Yeah.
It curbs what I can do. I need to be obnoxious and loud. So I don't know. But either way, guys, thank you for tuning in. Again, there's like about almost 50 in the building right now across all the platforms. I think we'll be going live on TikTok very soon. Maybe even as early as next week if we get some things figured out. So look for us on TikTok as well. I know we just launched our TikTok recently, so you can see some of our stuff on TikTok. But I think we have to go on TikTok live soon. And also, we're hoping to by the first week in September also be on all audio platforms. So look for us if you want to be able to just listen to us in the car and not watch. You don't need to look at my ugly mug. You can just listen to my voice, which is very melodic. But yeah. Tune in for a lot of good things, man. We're gonna have a bunch of new shows coming to the channel as well, man. Excited for what the future holds, and thank you guys who's with us right now for rocking with us in the beginning when it was just bare bones stuff, man. And that's about it. Guy, anything?
Hey, like you said, man, like, comment, subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yeah,
we're growing, and I just thank you guys for being a part of the journey. It's just the beginning, right?
For sure, man. All right, guys. We'll have a good Wednesday night. Enjoy. I hope everybody gets the schedule they're hoping for the NBA tomorrow, and your team get out of week 2 in the preseason without any health concerns, right? Because that's the only thing you got to worry about at this point.
Amen.
Other than that, adios, my friends. Later.